and it was first launched in 1976 by Jim Goodnight and his colleagues. They have developed this particular software especially for the agricultural department as well as for the research and development domain. When we think about research and development, there we used to have very huge amount of data. If the researcher has to make a decision regarding that particular data, he has to analyze the data first. So that is the reason why we have SAS. The main reason behind developing the SAS is nothing but doing the analysis. Of course, later they have upgraded the software, especially from the year 1993. As they have upgraded the software, now the SAS is not only meant for doing the analysis, but apart from that, we can do data entry, data management, data presentation, etc., etc. Okay. Yeah. So when it comes to the definition, I can say SAS is a powerful fourth generation programming language, and it is a combination of different software products. Okay. SAS is a programming language, and apart from that, it is a combination of different software products. So what we can do with the programming language concepts as well as with the software products is we can do a variety of works like data retrieving, data entry, data management, data analysis, data presentation, importing the data, exporting the data, we can say so on. It is a programming language, and it is a combination of different software products. So what we can do with the programming language concepts as well as with the software products is we can do a variety of works like data retrieving. SAS is faster in data retrieving. Let's say we have a table with nearly 1,000 records. Out of 1,000 records, I want to have only 5 records based on a specific requirement. In that situation, if you go with the SAS, within seconds it will search for only those 1,000 out of only those 5 out of 1,000. SAS is faster in data retrieving, and here we can proceed with data entry. Here we can create the tables. In general, the work of SAS programmer is we used to have the data in some external data sources. So from that external data source, we will get the data into the SAS environment, and here we used to do the work as per the requirement. But apart from that, if you have any requirement to create the table with your own information, then we can create the tables.
So it is like in the what you call this relational tables. It can create like SQL.
Yes.
We create a table. So similarly, yes. SAS is another language like SQL to create a table. Is that correct?
Exactly. Just like a SQL. Okay. Here also we can create the table. Okay.
But you can't run the SAS language in a relational database.
We can connect with the relational databases. Okay.
Oh, okay.
We can interact with them for importing and exporting and controlling also. Okay. If you have something in the Oracle, we can directly control it from SAS itself. Okay. Whatever may be the kind of work that you want to do. Okay. But using Oracle, we cannot control the SAS. Okay.
Okay.
And we can analyze the data.
Okay.
We can analyze the data. It may be mathematical analysis or it may be statistical analysis. Whatever may be the analysis requirement that we have, we can do that through the analysis. And we can proceed with presentation. It may be a tabular report, detailed report, summary report, plot, chart, with whatever font size, with whatever font style, with whatever font color, into whatever format you want to present the report as a PDF file, RTF file, HTML file, Excel. We can present our report in different formats. We have complete control over the presentation. We can import as well as export the data. SAS will support all the flat files like this notepad. It will support DAT file, data file, ASCII file, ANSI file, SCV file. It will support all the relational databases like Oracle, Teradata, SQL Server, DB2. And it will support application files like Excel, Access, Lotus. Okay. So we can interact with all of them in order to export and import and control that data. And here we can do predictive modeling. We can go with market research, and we can go with the business intelligence. We can say so on. We can do all that through the SAS. And SAS is a combination of 33 different tools like SAS, Access, Base, Connect, Report.
Sorry, what is that? Base? I can't hear you.
Yeah, Base, Connect, Report, whatever I'm trying to write here, all those. Okay.
Yeah.
SAS is a combination of 33 different tools. That means whenever we are trying to do something in the SAS, internally that concerned tool will become active and it will do that particular work. Let's say if you want to get the data from external source into the SAS, for that we have a specific tool. Once we got the data, here I want to do the modifications. If you want to modify the data, for that we have a specific tool. Once the modifications are over, then I want to analyze the data. For analysis, I have another tool. Once the analysis is over, whatever may be the output that I got, I want to send that information as a report to someone. To generate the report, we have another tool. Like that, for each and every work, we have a specific tool. Like that, the SAS is a combination of totally 33 different tools. And it will support nearly 46 domains. Or we can use the SAS in different fields like sales, finance, banking, marketing, clinical trials, marine, medicine, agriculture, telephone industry, stock exchange, insurance. We can say so on. That means wherever we have strong requirement of management, analysis, and presentation. Wherever we have strong requirement of management, analysis, and presentation, in all those different fields, we can work with SAS. Okay?
Yeah.
And when it comes to the features, we have three important features like SAS program, SAS integration, and SAS analysis. When it comes to the program, I already told you it's a programming language and it's a syntax-based language. That means SAS was developed on rules. So whatever may be the kind of work that you want to do, we must follow the rules. Okay? So here we will see what are the programming rules, what are its advantages, what are its disadvantages. That means what we can do with the programming and what we cannot do with the programming. Everything that is related with the programming. Okay? We will think about all that by the first feature, nothing but SAS program. And here we have integration. Okay? How the SAS is used to interact with different operating systems as well as databases. SAS is platform independent. That means we can work with SAS in Windows, Unix, IBM mainframes, OpenVMS, So using SAS, we can work in different operating systems, and at the same time, it will support all the relational databases like Oracle, Teradata, CBase, SQL Server,
Yeah.
DB2. We can interact with them in order to import and export and controlling the data also. We know that when it comes to the databases,
Yes.
database is used to have some security. So here we will see how the SAS can fulfill the security requirements so that we can control it directly from the SAS itself. Okay? Even though you don't know how to work with that particular actual database, we can work with it from SAS itself. And analysis. I already told you the main reason behind developing the SAS is nothing but doing the analysis. It may be mathematical analysis or it may be statistical analysis, technical, whatever it may be. And we can categorize the SAS into 3 different layers. Okay, like technical layer, functional layer, and
Yeah.
techno-functional layer. Technical layer means,
Techno-function.
techno-functional.
Yeah.
Technical means here we used to do everything by developing a program or code. Whenever we are trying to do something by developing a program is called as a technical layer. But when it comes to the functional, here we will not develop any program, but here we used to work with the Windows or GUI, graphical user interfaces. That means here the work will be simply dragging and dropping. We will not write any program. Okay, we will simply drag and drop, and internally the SAS will develop the code and it will generate the result for it. Okay, so it is nothing but
Yeah.
functional. And techno-functional, the name itself indicates it is a combination of both programming as well as functionality also, where we used to write program, and in some situations we will simply use the Windows for doing the work. Okay, so this is the general introduction for the SAS. Now let's see how this is useful in the clinical domain.
Yeah.
Whenever any pharmaceutical industry is trying to develop the drug, at the beginning, primarily, it will do a lot of research in order to identify different chemical compounds. Once they have identified the required chemical compounds, then they will apply those chemical compounds on the animal cells for the research purpose. And they will do this research in the laboratory conditions, and we will call it as a preclinical trials or non-clinical trials. Now, they were doing the research on the animal cells by giving the chemical compound, and once they were succeeded in the research work, that means once they got the output according to their requirement, then they have to send their research information to the Food and Drug Administration as IND, Investigational New Drug.
Sorry,
Now the FDA,
investigation.
Investigational New Drug.
New drug. Okay.
Now the FDA will review the investigational new drug, and if it has given approval, then they will start conducting the clinical
So
trials.
what is that unit called? FDA, is it?
Food and Drug Administration. Generally, if
Student?
you want to release a
Yeah.
medicine in the US market, first of all, we have to get the permission or approval from the Food and Drug Administration. Why? Because that is the board which controls the drugs in the US, United States. Of course,
Student?
like
What is the second word? I didn't call the second. Student?
which one?
No, no. How? What do you call student?
Which one? FDA or
No, no.
IND?
Yeah. The area which actually does the investigation is called what? Student. There's a bit of a background noise again coming up, like
Okay.
whole.
Okay. Actually, here I'm not running anything. Maybe
Yeah,
some network issue, I think so.
probably.
Food and
That's
Drug
all right.
Administration. They will control the drugs in the United States.
Yeah,
Remember that for Britain, Scotland, for all of them, we have European Union, where
yeah,
they will control the drugs in the Europe continent. Like that, Japan is having its own board. India is also having its own board. Like that, US United States is having Food and Drug Administration, which will control the drugs in the United States.
yeah,
Okay, so whenever we want to release a drug into the United States, first of all we must get approval from the Food and Drug Administration. Okay, so the pharmaceutical industry, whatever may be the pharmaceutical industry that they were trying to develop the drug, they have to send their research information to the Food and Drug Administration as investigational new drug. Now, the FDA will review that investigational new drug, and if it has given approval for conducting the clinical trials, then only that particular pharmaceutical industry should proceed with the conduction of the clinical trials. Okay. Directly, the pharmaceutical industry itself will not conduct it. It will conduct through contract research organizations, CRO, contract research organization, and they will conduct the trials on behalf of the pharmaceutical industry. And of course, the trials will be conducted by different phases, where in phase 1, the number of participants are very few. We used to have only 20 to 30 healthy volunteers. We used to have 20 to 30
hold on.
healthy
Okay,
volunteers as the subject, and on them they will do the research for nearly 1 month, and they are mainly concerned about the safety. As we are giving a foreign compound into the body, how much safer it is to go with it.
yeah,
So once they are done with the phase 1 study, then they proceed with the phase 2, where the number of participants are around 200 to 300, where we used to have target deceased persons. And they will do the research on them for nearly 1 year, and they will concentrate on the effectiveness, how much effective it is in reducing the disease.
so these are deceased people, is it?
Yeah, earlier we have taken healthy volunteers, but here we
Okay,
used to
the
have
deceased.
target deceased.
Okay, who have got illness, some kind of a condition.
Yes, suppose if you are doing the research on the cancer, then the subject should be
Yeah,
cancer survivors, like that.
yeah, yeah,
And we have phase 3, where the number of participants are around few thousands. And of course,
yeah,
here also we used to have target deceased persons as the subject, and they will do the research on them for few years regarding the safety and efficacy both. Okay. Once they are done with the phase 3 studies, then they used to send that information to the FDA again as NDA, new drug application. They will send all the research information to the FDA as new drug application. Okay.
yeah.
Now the FDA will review the new drug application, and if it has given approval, then they will start marketing the drug. They will release their drug into the market. And once it has been released into the market, there they proceed with the phase 4, where they think about the long-term effects of the drug, and at the same time they used to compare their product with the standard products till the drug will get registered. Okay, so generally this is the workflow regarding the drug development. But here, as we noticed, from one phase to another phase, the number of participants are rapidly increased, and the time period is also too long, isn't it?
Yeah.
So here we will get very huge amount of data. If the researchers have to make a decision regarding that particular data, there they need to analyze the data. So there we need the help of SAS. Generally, the SAS is very frequently used in the phase 2 and phase 3 studies, and occasionally in the phase 4 and even in phase 1. Okay. Once the trials are initiated, the data will be collected, managed, and maintained by the clinical data management team. From the clinical data management team, the data will come to the SAS team. Okay. So what the SAS will do here is, first of all, we will proceed with the data accessing.
This is in the phase 1 and phase 2.
Phase 2 and phase 3, these are the areas where in general we will go with the SAS. Okay, yep. Phase 1 and phase 4, these are occasional situations. Based on the requirement only, we will go with the SAS. Okay, yep. But 2 and 3, definitely we will go with the SAS. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So data accessing. Data accessing means getting the data into the SAS environment. Remember that we may get the data as a file, or it may be in a database. Whatever may be the source, in SAS we have different techniques to get that external data into the SAS environment. And once we got here, we will call it as a data set, or we can simply call it as a table. Okay. So once we got the table, then we will proceed with the validation. We have to check whatever may be the information that we got, is that valid or not. So how we will validate the data is by the help of standard operating procedures, SOP, where they used to give the specifications. According to those specifications, we will check whether the data is valid or not. Let's say, according to the specifications, they said they have conducted the study on the persons whose age is in between 50 to 70. So whatever may be the data that we have, okay, all the records must be in between the age of 50 to 70. Suppose if we have any record out of that particular age, is nothing but a wrong entry or error. So we will check whether our data is valid or not, and if we found anything unwanted or irrelevant, then we will clean it, and that's what we call as cleansing. Of course, for validation as well as cleansing also, we have different techniques in SAS. Using them, we will check whether our data is accurate or not. If it is not accurate, then we will try to remove all the unwanted stuff in it. Okay, and we will make it accurate. And then we will prepare the analysis data sets. We will make the table ready for analysis. In the table, we may have number of columns, number of records, but all that is not needed for analysis. We will always do the analysis according to the SAP, Statistical Analysis Plan. We can also call it as DAP, Data Analysis Plan. This is a document where they used to give the expectations, what they were expecting from the data. So we have to do the analysis according to the Statistical Analysis Plan. Once we generated the report, then we will think about the presentation. It may be a tabular report, detailed report, summary report, plot, chart, whatever it may be, with whatever font size, with whatever font style, with whatever font color, in whatever format they want to have the report, as a PDF file, RTF file, HTML file. Okay. We will generate it, And before we send that information to the concerned department, we have validation. So whatever may be the report that we have generated, is that report is valid or not? Or is that exactly matches with the given specifications of the client or not? We will verify before we send it to the concerned department. Okay, so that's what we call as validation. So this is the workflow with the SAS. But remember that not a single person will do the whole thing. Okay, whenever we got the project, it will be categorized for different teams. Some of the team will be there who will access the data, validate, and clean the data. And another team will be there who will prepare the analysis data set, do the analysis, and generate the reports. And we used to have a separate team who will validate our reports. So it will be categorized into different categories based on the teams. Okay,
Yes.
so this is the application of SAS in the clinical domain. So we have seen what is SAS when it came into existence, its definition, okay, and what are the different tools that we have in the SAS, what are the different domains which the SAS supports, its features, its layers, okay, and a brief overview regarding the drug development process, and finally application or usage of SAS in the clinical domain. Okay, I will stop here. If you have any questions, you can go now.
Yeah, can you tell me those major ones like the data capturing, like a data extraction, analysis, presentation. What are the tools you need really? I mean, each area. It's
Actually,
okay. Yeah.
these are the different things that we will do. Okay, and based on the requirement internally, the SAS will active the tools. Remember that we will not do anything. We will simply write a program. So whenever we wrote a program, that program will activate the concern tool behind it, and that tool will perform the work, and ultimately it will throw the output. Okay, so these are the different things that we will do, like accessing the data into the SAS environment, validating and cleaning the data, preparing the analysis data sets, and doing the analysis on it, and generating the reports. Okay, for everything we will develop the program, okay, so that the program will do the whole work.
Yeah, is there a particular name for each one? Like access, there's a name, validation, and cleansing.
Generally, as I said, it is a combination of 33 different tools. Okay,
Yeah.
SAS access is used to interact with the external data sources. Okay, SAS base is used to do the programming, base SAS programming. SAS connect is used to interact with server and client requirements. SAS report is used to generate the reports. SAS graph tool is used to generate graphical reports. SAS ODS stands here, output delivery system. This exports the SAS reports into the external files. Like that, based on the requirement, okay, when we write a program, these tools will become active and they will do the work. So according to the project, okay, we may have different tools according to the source. Suppose if we are trying to get the data from the Oracle, for that we have a separate tool to get the data. But remember that programming is same, but internally that concerned tool will become active. Suppose if the data is present in the Excel is a file, so for that we have another tool. Okay, like that we have different tools, but which tool will become active in what situation, it depends upon the kind of requirement which we have. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what is SAS ODS used for?
output delivery system, it is used to export the reports. Output delivery system.
It's exporting. Now, that is okay.